Jon Jones says that the fear that he lost is now back. That the fear that he had when he was defending his title, it was lost, now it's back. Now he's going up a weight class, fighting a guy that's taller than him, fighting a guy that dominated his last opponent violently. That gave him fear, knowing that he's gonna be fighting this guy. And many believe that fear is a bad thing. But let me just remind you that fear gets you going. Fear gets anybody going, especially for fighters. And Jon Jones talked about this fear that he lost. That he lost fighting guys like Thiago Santos, like Dominic Reyes. He lost the fear in those fights. And he didn't have the same performance that he had like his other performances, where he dominated his opponent. Many said that he lost to Dominic Reyes. Many said that if Thiago Santos had a working knee, that he would have beat Jon Jones. And Jon Jones said that in those two fights he lost the fear. He lost the fear and then he underperformed. Man, let me just tell you, fear is a good thing. Fear is a good thing. Especially for fighters, because you know, if you know that you, in a couple of days, are going into a caged Jon Jones said that he had lost fear in fighting guys like Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, but now he's gained that fear back. Now he has gotten the fear back, knowing that he's gonna be going up a weight class, fighting a guy that's taller than him, fighting a guy that dominated his last opponent violently. It gave him the fear back. And before you think that fear is a bad thing, let me stop you, because fear gets anybody going, especially for fighters. And Jon Jones talked about that he had the fear in fighting guys like DC, guys like Shogun Rua, guys like Lyoto Machida. That gave him fear. But he lost it. He lost it fighting guys like Thiago Santos, like Dominic Reyes. He lost it. And it's very easy to lose fear knowing that you're Jon Jones, knowing that you are the greatest fighter of all time. You can lose fear knowing that people are looking up to you. Not just people, not just fans, but fighters are looking up to you. People that you consider great consider you the greatest. That can remove fear, knowing that you're that guy, and Jon Jones was that guy. Knowing that you are the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. In MMA, in the UFC. That can remove fear, and Jon Jones lost that. But now he's got it back. Now he's got it back. And don't think for a second that fear is a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, especially for fighters. Because if you know that in a couple of days, you're going to meet a man that has an intention of knocking you out cold in a steel cage in front of drunk fans, thousands of drunk fans smashing beer bottles together, in front of millions of people watching on their television, some booing you, some wanting you to get knocked out clean, and some are cheering you on. That gives you fear. Especially if you're a fighter, that gives you fear. And fear gets all of us going. Fear gets all of us going. I mean, if for a fighter, that gets you going. That makes you work harder. That makes you work smarter. When you're on the treadmill and you want to give up, when you're running, you want to take a break, you keep on going because you know that in a couple of days, that will be your reality. You're gonna fight another man with the intention of knocking you out cold in front of fans that are drunk at 2 a.m. in the morning, that are booing you, some cheering you on. That gets you going. And Jon Jones said that he got fear back. He got it back. Fear's a good thing. Fear gets you going. Human beings would have been eradicated if we didn't have fear. If we didn't have fear, we would have not stayed in our little caves and gone out in the wilderness and got eaten by God knows who. If we didn't have fear, our ancestors would have just been walking around and got eaten by predators. We wouldn't have survived. Because fear gets us going. Fear makes us grab a bow and go out in the wilderness and play it safer. And hunt safer. And in the modern world, fear will make you, knowing that you are supposed to go into a steel cage, makes you prepare. Makes you, instead of grabbing a bow, grabbing a training partner, training with him, working harder, working smarter, working your ass out, grinding. Makes you train harder. Makes you go the extra mile. Fear's a good thing. And Jon Jones talked about that he got that back. And let me just tell you that Jon Jones having the fear back is not a bad thing, but a good thing.